Yo, what's up? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. Welcome to another business and investing podcast episode. Now, today, we're going to talk about something a little different than what we're used to talking about on this podcast. Normally, we talk about things business and investing related, obviously, but we're more geared towards real estate investing. Recently, I've been making offers on different types of businesses. Businesses provide cash flow. Things like laundromats and car washes and things like that is what I'm personally looking to acquire, especially right now. Cash flow is king, right? Just like with real estate, I look for rental properties because they provide cash flow on a monthly basis. Same thing with a business. In the same way that I acquire real estate, I acquire businesses. So if I acquire a house through seller financing, for example, I would make an offer on a business through seller finance. And I just made two offers on a laundromat, on two different laundromats in Charlotte. And both of them had some form of seller financing involved in them. Or if I'm paying cash, I'm going to pay a percentage of what I feel like the businesses are worth because my cash will be tied up into it. So the same way I buy real estate is the same way I would make an offer on a business. Now, part of growing your income is to acquire businesses, obviously, right? So in addition to real estate, you want to be looking to take that money that you're making from real estate, not only grow your real estate portfolio, but you also want to start considering other aspects of business that you can jump into. And part of that would be online businesses. So we have offline business and then we have online businesses as well. And that's what our special guest today specializes in. Now, I've known Justin for at least 5 years. Well, about 5 years, Jay?
About five, yeah.
About 5 years, maybe 6 years or so. But he came and spoke at one of my events about 4 years ago in Charlotte and absolutely crushed it. But he started a couple of different companies. He just acquired another company. And we're going to talk about how he's acquiring these companies right now and how you can do the same exact thing. To me, you either have to be involved in real estate or you have to be involved in some form of business or do both. I recommend doing both. So we're going to talk about how Justin's acquiring these businesses, how he feels about starting a business from scratch versus simply taking over a business, and then talk about scaling that business, taking it to a whole nother level. People have to remember that businesses acquire equity in them the same way real estate does as well. So to me, if you are investing in real estate and in addition to that, acquiring businesses, you're really taking advantage of the best of both worlds. So we're going to get into that today. And another thing I want you guys to keep in mind, Justin is known as the course guy, right? Well, at one part of what he does is help people disperse their specialized knowledge for a profit, right? It's probably the best way for me to say it. So what you guys can do is literally take what's in your head, and somebody out there is going to need what you guys know. That's a business, but is it the best business for you to step into right now? We'll get into all of that today, but let me introduce my man Justin Burns to the call. JB, what's up, man?
What's up, Jay? Glad to have me, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Man, you like reaching out to the president to get you on this podcast, bro.
Hey, man, here we are, bro. We
Yeah,
all busy, right? But now we
right,
here.
man. Oh man, one of the busiest men I know, man, and I'm happy for you for that, man. I love it, man. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So again, thanks for having me on. My name is Justin Burns. I'm actually the founder of a company called Maestro. So we actually are a what's known as a SaaS, software as a service platform where creators, experts, speakers, authors, any type of person can really take what they know and actually turn it into a digital product, a master class. There's so many different names out there for it now. And we actually, take care of the hosting, and you can actually build an entire online business with our platform. I'm also the new founder of a company called Research AI that we just actually acquired. My specialty for the past, 12 years has really been in really mastering this art of digital, just digital. Like, how do you, I remember, man, it was like, I always tell people this small story. Like, I'm a boy from the south side of Chicago, right? And up until that point, up until I was probably about 22, man, people would always ask me every single time, school teachers, everybody, like, yo, what do you want to do with your life? And I always be like, man, I don't know. And they'd be like, that was a bad thing. But actually, it was good. I'm thinking back on it. It was good because it actually gave me time to really think and process and not really make decisions and go out and get into school and go into debt, and it was really good that I waited, because around 23, I was sitting at a seminar and I was a broke, unemployed salesman. And I remember the guy said something. He was at the event. He said, man, with online marketing, this is how crazy. This was 2008. I think it was like 2008, 2009. He said, this is going to change the world. People are going to buy all over the world. You're going to have customers in Australia, London, Spain. And I was like, I don't know. My eyes just lit up. I was like, wow, like I ain't never heard anything like that. And I just pointed. My friend was like, why are you pointing? And I said, that's the thing right there. That's my thing. I want to master that. And he was like, all right, whatever. And so, man, for the past 12 years, we've worked with over 30,000 experts, started a tech company from it. It's just been a blessing to be able to, not really go to college, but also be able to say, hey, this is my thing. And I've been in love with it for the past 12 years.
So a seminar started it all for you, man. Just looking for something to do, started off as a salesperson and just kind of jumped into the online world at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So where do you feel like the online world is right now?
That's a good question.
Versus back then.
Yeah, I mean, it's different in a sense that, I always tell people, man, there's pros and cons of everything, right? If you had started back in the day, you would have had a more difficult time, getting started because, back from, they call me an OG now. And I see a lot of people, they're like, OG, so I've been in the game for, almost over 12 years. And back in the day, man, if you wanted to start an online business, you would have had to know a little bit of coding, HTML, or you had WordPress. You had to stitch it. I was just telling somebody this at the table. You had to stitch a whole sales page together, right? Now, man, you got tools like Maestro. You got tools, other tools out there, landing page builders, man. You can, with literally a couple of days of work, you can have a business up and starting. So I tell people, the thing nowadays is that, of course, you have more competition because a lot more people realize, hey, I can get wealthy online. Mm-hmm. But it's still a period of time. There's still a window that a lot of people don't understand. Like, there's a lot of people who can get very wealthy, and people are becoming wealthier faster. We're seeing, where people used to tell us, man, it takes 10 years to get wealthy, right? Now these young bulls, they're doing it, these guys that are 21, 22, doing it in a year, right? They're doing it a year. Yep. So, and a lot of that is attributed to the fact of how accessible and how easier, not to say it's easy because nothing is easy, but I would just say like it's easier to be able to really accelerate your wealth by having, you could get on here just like you're building an audience. You can get on here right now, come up with a digital product idea in literally 5 minutes, have it out, selling it in a week, and then you can have, you can literally start a YouTube channel or start some type of, there's so many different channels. And I've seen people, there's a guy, man, I met him 2 years ago, and he was working at Chick-fil-A 2 years ago. He started a advertising agency for about 6 months, made like $500,000 to $1 million in revenue. And then in about 6 months to a year. But then he doubled it and said, well, other people are asking me how to start one, so I'm going to, teach them how to start it. And then he went out and taught people how to start it. And now that business is doing $3-4 million a year, so that's in 2 years, man. It's crazy. Like it's absolutely insane.
I know a guy who was busting tables a couple years ago. He made $40 million over the last couple of years, man, doing the same thing. It's amazing, man. Just specialized knowledge. I started in a course business started in a teaching business, I like to call it, back in 2006. And it was completely different. Like, it was like you said, man, I had to figure out HTML. I had to figure out how to build a website. I had to figure out how to put stuff online. Facebook was just trying to figure things out as well. So, back then it was just different. You know what I mean? Versus today, you got social media. You could literally not even have a course created, right? You could just say, hey, I got this, I got a 12-week program or a 6-week program. You could take people on one of these webinar platforms, create the course live, get results, and then package the information and start selling the information. You know what I mean? So, like, somebody on here might be good at, I don't know, working out, or they might be able to do the most jumping jacks. All right. So you can take that, how to do more jumping jacks, and be able to get leaner, or anything, right? How to wash your clothes better, how to make your clothes smell better, anything, right? You can turn anything into a business. Everybody listening to this has something that they specialize in, or they're better at than someone else. They don't even have to be the best at it, but you understand how it works, and you can actually package that and sell it. You know what I mean? So my question to you is it better to start a business, or is it better to acquire a business? Because I know you're into acquiring businesses now, and you've been through the ropes in both. Is it better to acquire or to start?
So I think it's a twofold answer to that. But I would say if you're looking to start more so like a digital business, you want to start from the place of where it's your knowledge, right? So you could start that as a business, but it's not as complicated as people make it. When it comes to, if I were to say start any type of other business, service business, a technology business, or any type of like just idea that requires me to kind of build out the platform or something to that extent, I would never start it. Like, that was one of the things that I wish as a entrepreneur that somebody would have taught me years ago. I wish I would have slapped. If I would have like jumped back into 2008 and I would have seen my old self, I would come out with my hand and say, boy, don't start that business. Like, I would literally say that, because the reason being is because what I've learned is that I think a lot of like what a lot of entrepreneurs experience is burnout, right? And it's something that we don't talk about, which is burnout. And so if you're watching this and you're starting off, it will happen to you. It happens to the best of us. But I think what happens is that and these are just statistics, right? 90% of businesses fail, right? 90% of businesses fail. And you go, well, Justin, like, that's not really positive. Well, when you think about it, what is the goal? Like, why did we get started in entrepreneurship? And what you'll find is that usually it comes down to, you could say all the buzzwords, passion, and all this other stuff, and that's great. But a lot of us do it for freedom, right? We got tired of the machine. We got tired of working for the machine. We want to make a better life for our family, but it's really freedom that we want. That's really what we want.
Time and freedom, man. That's what I tell people all the time, bro.
Yeah, it's all time and freedom. But here's the thing, right? There are somewhere, especially if this is mostly just for the U.S. though. If anybody's watching over the world, and I'm pretty sure it's even more in other places of the country. But there's over, I think it's somewhere north of like 1 to 5 million businesses that are for sale every year, and only 10% of them sell. Now, when you think about that, only 10% of them sell. But people go, well, why are they selling it? When you think about what's happening to baby boomers, people want to retire, or some people just get to the point where they just want to sell and they don't want to pass it off to their kids. So what that presents, is it presents a really, really huge opportunity, which is that there are so many cash flowing businesses, and you don't, most people say, well, that's great, Justin, a business is selling for $1 million. There's also creative ways to acquire businesses. Now, let's say you're already like, this is also another benefit. The benefit is like basically not starting a business and acquiring one that's already doing it. But here's another asset. If you already have a company, you can also add like what we call bolt-on offers. Those are things where you don't have to necessarily acquire the whole business. You can acquire a piece of a business. You may want to have a piece. You may want the email list. You may want the Facebook group. You may want the Instagram. So the whole point that I always try to teach even my students is that we've like stop doing things the hard way, right? Like we as entrepreneurs think we have to work hard, and we do. But then there comes a point where you have to transition from being so income focused and being cash flow focused. Right? So many people are so income. They're like, I got to make 20 grand. They're like, that used to inspire me. Like I'd be sitting in the chair like, yeah, because I mean, I was flat broke. But I was like, if I can make 20 grand a month, that'd be great. Then I made 20 grand a month. There was another set of problems. Then it was like, oh, I want to make 100 grand a month. And then I made 100 grand a month. And it was like, I made 100 grand a month. And it was like, wait, I got to set it. That's never the focus. The focus is you want consistent cash flow. So one of the things that we could talk about this more in depth is, that's why I actually acquired another business, because I saw a problem in our current business and we just needed it. And I was able to use some creative ways to get that business fairly cheap.
So it was more like a bolt-on to your existing business, but you just acquired the entire other business in order to be able to mesh the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things we can let's give some meat. You know what I'm saying? We can.
Yeah.
I like to.
So real quick, bro. So, think of a bolt. So everybody listening to this, if we're thinking about a physical location, think of a bolt-on being, let's say somebody had a gym, and then inside the gym there was space for a health food restaurant. That's a bolt-on to the business. Right, you can do the same exact thing online. So let's jump into some of that meat, bro.
Yeah. So, one of the things with Maestro is an online course platform, but when you start to really talk, the greatest thing that you could do to grow your business is to talk to your freaking customers. If you do not have customers, then the best thing to do is to get people into more so like a beta group with people that you can, that's one of the, I always tell people, they go, well, if I don't have customers, then listen, get people in a beta group that can test your product, that they can, even if you say sell it for a discount, they still pulled out their credit card. They're your ideal customer. So what we did was, we had a database of over a few thousand customers. And, I told my team, I said, before we rebuilt this product, the focus has to be on talking to customers. It has to be. And we start, one of the things is people would join our courses and we would be like, man, one of the most frustrating things is creating course content. So then this discovering this led to two different business models. One that was like a 7-figure profit center, which is let's do it for them, but I don't want to do the work. So I put like 2-3 people in place and we start doing courses for them. And that exploded because people didn't want to do that. What you'll find is that people always talk about pricing and all this other stuff. Man, listen, pricing is irrelevant. If you solve somebody's pressing challenge and they want it bad enough, they'll pay you any amounts of money that you want. And so we solved this big problem. Then there was another problem. It was like, okay, well, there's the people who can't necessarily afford to work with us, even though we've really scaled a lot of people's businesses. There's a lot of people who can't work with us. So what do we do for them? Well, there's technology. And so there's writers out there where we found one where it was like artificial intelligence writer where it literally created great copy. And so then we had to discuss, we said, okay, well, we can build it, but then it's going to take us to get it right, the first version, at least 4 to 6 months. I don't want to do that because our focus needed to be on our current platform. So then we went out there and we started talking to we made a list of all the companies. I had my assistant go out and reach out to all these people. And we knew it was hot because the first 6 people were like, we're not selling. So he's like, we're on to something. Like, they're not selling at all. So it's like, we're on to something, right? So then I had her, so then we started reaching out to brokers and we built a relationship. Here's the one thing you want to do, especially when you are even thinking about business. There are sites like Buy, Biz, Sell. There's all these sites that sell it. But what you'll find is that those sites are like the aftermarket sites, like meaning like before they're ran through their current database. And it doesn't mean you can't find good deals. You can find good deals. But what you'll find is that you want to build relationships with brokers, right? And so we started building a relationship with a broker. And guess what? He reached out to me. He said, hey, man, weren't you looking for an artificial intelligence writer? I said, yeah. He said, well, there's this guy who he has to sell. He doesn't want to sell, but he has to sell because he has a main company that his investors just went through a Series A fundraising round, and they're telling him like he has to sell off any of his side projects. So he
Pause
doesn't
right
want
there
to.
for a second. So notice the similarities, everybody watching this, right? So again, you guys are more so real estate investors, right? Notice what Justin said. He went to a broker. In the business world, you can find great deals through brokers, right? But he mentioned the stress. I talk about the stress in real estate. If you want to find a deal, you got to find the distress, right? So it could be physical distress or financial distress in real estate. In business, you're looking more so for financial distress. Here's a seller who had to sell. He didn't wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling." He needed to sell that day, right? So the same thing in real estate. You're looking for a seller that has to sell, right? The person that has to sell is willing to be flexible. The person that doesn't have to sell doesn't necessarily provide the best option for you. So same thing in the business world. Great key point, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I had to learn that the hard way. That it's like you said, it's the same as real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he pops up with this opportunity, and I play around with it, and I'm like, there was some things that we needed to change on it, but I was like, overall, I saw the opportunity. So I reached out to the guy. I was like, yo, let's jump on. And so usually business deals take a period of time. When you got a motivated seller though, like I'm always
Yes.
about, look, let's do a deal right here, right now. Let's not do I don't want to do a three close call. Like I want this thing right now. So we got on the phone. I started listening to him and hearing his goals. And he was just like, yeah, man, here's what I want. And I was just like, hey, how about we do some of this with seller financing?
Mm.
And he was like, okay, cool. He's like, but I do want a little cash up front. And I was comfortable with the cash that he wanted up front. And I made him an offer, and I said, well, he's like, well, we can talk later. And I was like, we can do a second call. I was like, listen, bro, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to do a second call. Like, and that doesn't mean like, it means this. It means that you have to, and I started really, and I learned this in sales too, because we did a lot of high ticket selling. And I was like, you have to be able to listen to what somebody wants, and you have to latch on to that. So many people will be like, yeah, you want to do this, but no, like I heard him say he has a certain amount of time to get rid of this and I said, listen, and I regurgitated back to him I said, listen, here's the thing, like right now your focus is on this bigger business, and this business is take away energy from what you need to focus on. You got this big opportunity with these investors. They're willing to plunk millions of dollars to your company. Dude, let's get this off of your plate right now. And he was silent for like 5 seconds. He was thinking, he said, all right, cool. You're right. And so you still got to sell.
You put the pressure on him, man.
I had to put the pressure on him. But he knew I was right? Because people, what you'll find is like, it's not hypey sales tactics. What you'll find is that, and this often occurs in humans, like people, if they have to delay a decision, they will, right? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you have to get people to make a decision. The decision, and here's the thing, you'll find that majority of people already know the decision that they're going to make before they get off the phone. Yep. Right now, if it's a more complicated deal, of course, they got to talk to their investors. Those are understandable, but he didn't really have a lot of investors. He built it himself. So I saw that and was like, all right, let me put the pressure on. So I did it. We came to a deal, and then we acquired the brand. So, and now we're about to relaunch it in the next 30 days. I literally redid the software, the flow of it and the UI of it. And then now we're about to start cash flowing it. And it was already a cash flowing business, but now, I'm probably going to get my investment back literally in 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And so I tell people,
all in the green.
And then I'm all in the green. So I tell people, there's so many, and we can talk about it too, Jay. There's so many different ways. You just have to know there's like 40, 50, probably 100 ways to do creative ways to acquire the businesses. Yep. And even in real estate, even right now, shout out to Jay, he sparked this. I'm recently getting into real estate, looking at acquiring more properties. And I just said, the first thing I thought was, I can go here and chase this deal. I can go here and try to call, do regular. What's going to be a business? And watch this. This is even for you real estate people, right? what's going to be a business that I could acquire that's going to make me be able to get there faster? So that might be a software, right? That might be a business that already has all of this in place. Like it might be a business that already has a bunch of VAs that's already doing all the calling. They're already trained, right? So that's the type of way I like to think, man. I like to think outside the box instead of the traditional route.
Already bringing in revenue, and literally what you're doing, just like buying an apartment building, right? You're buying cash flow. So when you buy a business, you're buying cash flow. That's what you jump into business for, right? It's the freedom, the time, the cash that the business is going to allow you, afford you to be able to do whatever you want with your life at the end of the day, right? So when you guys are thinking about acquiring businesses, which I highly recommend, as you build your real estate business, you get good at that. Start thinking outside the box, like JB is talking about. What can you do online, right? Can you start building an audience and then present something to that audience in order to be able to add on to you? It could be a bolt-on. So, for example, my YouTube that I have, my podcast that I have, my education platform, my coaching program, all of those are bolt-ons to my real estate business, right? Still right in the same line of work. So people ask me, what do I do for a living? I say, I make money for a living, right? I'm in a real estate business, but in addition to that, I got all these other features of my real estate business, like education and stuff like that, which allows me to bring in more revenue for my business. So you guys need to be thinking like this as well. So let's provide our listeners with a step-by-step process, Jay. How can the average person listening to this podcast right now start making money because I honestly think online is probably going to be a little easier to make money than real estate, to be honest. How can the average person take what they have and be able to acquire some businesses or at least start one?
Yeah, so the first step is, I think it's easier to start an online business than it is, anything. So before you even think about starting an internet business or acquiring a business, I would say the first step, honestly, is to start at the phase of like starting a info business. Because even if I were to acquire another company, I was just telling, me and you were talking offline with this, I started a new brand called Profit Ascension. And it's basically going to, we got to get you on it, Jay, where you talking about real estate, but essentially it's going to be talking about smart ways to grow businesses, and mostly talking about how to, acquire businesses. And so the first thing you need to do is really kind of start a brand, because what the info business is going to do is going to give you cash flow. Because I always tell people, the whole point, like, you create a product once, you get paid from it over and over and over again. The whole point of after that is that's why you see a lot of people starting these businesses, because they create it, but it also does a couple different things, not just about making money. Like, Jamel, for you, for example, you've gotten deals off of your YouTube channel, right? You've gotten deals from your people in your course. Like, it's so much, people don't understand, like, it's an ecosystem that you're building, right? It's not just about, let me create a course. The course is the first step. That's the first step. I've gotten people who have offered me stuff, who have led to speaking opportunities that develop, like, so much just from me actually creating a product. So the first step is you want to just choose you want to choose just a brand. Take anything. It can be something at the smallest level. Like, if you guys are real estate, like, niche down, don't just be like, I'm a real estate professional. Go into, I always call it, like, think about, like, there's red oceans, right? What is your blue ocean, right? Like, if everybody's talking about
something like that.
Yeah, like, it could be like red oceans. To me, red oceans are wholesaling. There's a lot of people talking about it. But a blue ocean may be like wholesaling for entrepreneurs who don't have enough time. Like me, I want to get into real estate. You see what I'm saying? Like, so there's two ways to really create a blue ocean. You create something that's not really being talked about, that's an opportunity, or you create something that is more like a blue ocean that you can tailor down, you can niche it down. So, like, for example, there's people like me that are entrepreneurs, busy, like Jamel says, it's sometimes hard to get in contact. I'm just building a tech company. It's very challenging. But if somebody came to me and said, hey man, I got this program where it's either you can make money from wholesaling or buying properties. They're not for corporations. They're specifically for busy entrepreneurs. I already have it on your plate. I've already I'm giving y'all some I'm giving y'all some game.
This is good stuff, man.
This is like, if somebody came to me and said, hey man, listen, I already got the numbers ran for you, profit, what you could do. I already picked the deals for you, and I'm even going to show you what I'm going to make on it or whatever. Don't even hide that, because people don't care about that. They like, yo, if there's some profit in there, you make a little money, I'm going to always do that. I'm going to give you the deals. I got the lenders, everything for hard money. I got them all set up for you on a silver platter. Package. They're already right there. What is that? That's a slam dunk, right?
It is, man.
So you could create a blue ocean just from that, from people who want to get into real estate, but they're too busy to do it. And so I will first go ahead.
I was going to say, just to put that in perspective for everybody listening, right? So my blue ocean, for example, right? I wholesale real estate and I do creative real estate. I have a hybrid approach called hybrid wholesaling. You guys know about that. I coined it about a little over a year ago. Coined the phrase, trademarked it, and everything like that. Hybrid wholesaling is a mixture of wholesaling and creative investing, where you can create profits up front, cash flow every month, and profits on the back end, right? So now, in addition to that, the people that I reach out to specifically, and this goes right along with what you were talking about, JB. I reach out, if you notice, I talk about being a family-oriented entrepreneur. That's who I am, right? I'm a family guy. I'm an entrepreneur, and I create time and freedom for people just like that. So I'm specifically targeting, target is probably a bad word, but I'm specifically reaching out, it's probably a better use of the word, to people who are family-oriented and looking for time and freedom, right? So we create the blue ocean that way. Is that about right?
Yeah. And even a part of the blue ocean is it comes down to your blue ocean comes down to your niche. It also comes down to your offer. Most people they only think about the niche. They don't think about the offer. Like, for example, last year we said we want to focus on creators. Okay, that's the niche. But then the offer was similar to what I'm talking about. The offer was, hey, look, you come out to Atlanta, we'll get on the call with you. The biggest challenge, I used the real estate challenge. What we did was we said, people have a problem coming up with the name for their course, the modules for their course, and building out the content. So what if we did all that for you? But what if we also filmed it for you? And what if we edited the film for you? What if we also gave you a professionally designed sales page written by a multi-million-dollar copywriter? What if we set up all the technical stuff? We're literally giving you a biz in the box thing that you can sell. Like, it's not cheap, but it's also costing you more by not working with us, because we've been doing this for 12 years.
That's right.
We did one guy. One guy took his knowledge of home healthcare. He had a successful home healthcare business. Now, watch this. He literally had no skills. He literally was like, I don't even know about this course stuff. He had 3,000 followers on Instagram. Nobody knew who he was. In 1 year, he did $1.6 million in course sales.
Wow, man.
Because he was coachable. And literally, because at first he's like, yeah, that's a little bit pricey. But I was like, just imagine the return on investment. You paid us what you paid us, but you made 1.7 million. You would have lost out on 1.7 million. And he's actually in our new documentary that we're filming for creators. And he talks about this. And so you want to have a blue ocean. That's step number one. Step number two is you want to literally map out your online program, at least just brainstorm it out. And what you want to do is you want to start to get feedback on it by pre-launching what we do, something called pre-launching your program. Yep. You don't want to wait until everything is perfect. Pre-launch it can look like, $1,000 program, you taking people at $100 because you just want to get some cash flow in. And then what you do is those people come in, it could be 3, 4, 5 people. Those people come in and they give you feedback. They say, hey, here's what we don't like. And you teach that. You could literally teach that training live, right? You can teach that training live. And then you come out with 2.0, then you come out with 3.0, and then you make the sales page fancier. So that's what I would do first.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Create the product while you have the client in hand, right?
Right.
Same thing.
Right. Yeah, you even if it's 2 or 3 people, don't do it for free, because the people, like, you want to get some type of money up front, because then you're getting paid to create the product, and then those people have pulled out their credit card, so they really are interested in what it is you have to offer.
So
And
you know
then what
what's
I would do,
sellable.
yeah, and then from there, here's the caveat. They're also going to tell you their biggest challenges. And you see, like, Jamel is a student of the game. Like, he's sitting there and I'm talking and he's writing things down, right?
You got that right, man.
Like that's what I do. Like, when somebody's talking to me and I'm teaching, I'm like, man, I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down. Or I'll take a mental note and then come back and listen to the recording later, or whatever. Because I'm gonna ask Jamel, like, yo, I dropped some gems, you dropped some gems, I need this recording, I gotta go back through it. So what they'll tell you is they'll tell you the problem they're experiencing, and then you're gonna get more customers who come into your whole situation, and you're gonna go, do you guys have this challenge? And they're gonna tell you they got the same challenge. And then what that's gonna give you is gonna give you the ability to then go, instead of you acquiring all these other businesses, then you could go out there and acquire something similar to what your coaching or your program is, right? That's one of the first things. So then what you do is, from there, now you've acquired, then what you could do is, now you have these customers over here, you're building a brand over here, right? You have customers, so people are coming in. Let's say you start a YouTube channel, let's say you start a podcast, whatever it is, you got people that are going to follow you over here. Over here, though, you're not taking, you might have started a course, because a course is, once you get into the flow of it, you create it in 30 days. So that's a fast-paced business. But then if you want to scale it up, in the background, you're either A, trying to acquire a business, or B, you're trying to create affiliate partnerships. So for me, what I do is, then, like I said, I start looking for this other business, and then I go, man, I can do this. And then here's what you do. The way that you can acquire business, you have to really be good at, in some cases, really being able to, know your numbers, right? Know what a business is cash flowing, what is it profiting? Because then what happens is if you have a cash flowing business, like Jamel said, we're actually looking at a few laundromats as well. And it's like, people are so looking for the complicated businesses, but there's actually money in the boring. I call them boring businesses.
Yeah, man. Those are the most profitable ones. A lot of people.
Those are the ones that are, those are the ones that are, recession proof.
Yep.
Those are the ones, like, I mean, how many people are going to stop just because a recession is happening, going to stop, like, basically washing their clothes? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, or washing their car. You know what I'm saying? Like, or these businesses, man, that people don't think about, because imagine if you have, and that's what we're focused on now. We got our tech businesses, and we're going to go into that. But you have another side of the coin, which is just cash flow. But before you get to those businesses, I recommend that you acquire, at least, it could be something. There's businesses out there, man, that are a few $1,000s. People are still looking at, like, oh, it got to be, it's $1 million. Like, there's business out there that are a few thousand. There's business out there where, if you really look at the numbers, even if they're doing $500,000 to $1 million a year, the woman, the guy wants out. They want out. And so they might do something like seller financing, where, you can basically say, hey, carry this debt back. But there's cash flow in it where you can pay them back and still have a profit and put very, very little money down.
I think that starting an online business, honestly, is probably much more cost effective, much easier to start. It still takes work. Don't get it twisted. You still got to put in that work, but I think it's just easier to build online, build the cash up, and then go offline with it, man. Another thing, a couple of things that you were talking about that I really appreciated. If you're going to start a business, make sure the audience wants what you're starting, right? So find the audience, then create the product, right? And that's how you can. To me, that's how you kill it. Because it's like going fishing, right? If I go to one part of the lake and I drop the bait and there's no fish, then obviously I need to pick up the bait, maybe go to another part of the lake where all the fish are at, right? So same thing, you want to drop the bait. And if you get a lot of bites, you can really kill it, So you could do the same thing online. how can you find stuff out like this? I mean, Instagram has everything, right? Go to these forums online. Forums still a good way to find different businesses. That's what you do right now, JB.
Yeah, we, you know, what we what we focus on is we got the technology Maestro, which people can host their online platform, making it super easy to host an online course.
You
We also
mentioned
have
add-ons too. Add-ons is
yeah,
probably the
yeah.
best way. Yeah,
Yeah, so we, you know, some of our add-ons are, you know, we have courses that teach people how to build online businesses. Then we also have one of our add-ons is a done for you service where it's like those are
right.
for people that say, look, I got this cash flow. I don't want to wait 6 months, a year to drop a course. Like you guys just do it for me. You guys. So
Mhm.
last year we literally created over 80 almost close to 100 courses that we delivered. It was
Wow, man.
absolutely, yeah, so it was close to 100. And it may not sound like a lot, but like in that realm of filming, editing, doing all that, and we have a lot of them who have went on to be multi 7-figure businesses. Like it was just amazing. So, you know, we that's one of our bolt-ons, and then we have now research AI that we're trying to scale. But our focus is going to be more so on as we start to come. You know, we're releasing a new version of our platform, Maestro. We're working on for a year, and so we put a lot of time, effort, and energy into that. So that's going to be one of our big focuses coming up in this next quarter. So
Got it. Got it. So look, guys, at the end of the day, what we're trying to convey here is you have to, number one, don't be afraid to buy in to existing businesses, just like you would buy an existing house, right? To me, if you're trying to start a business, it's like building a house from the ground up. When you're looking to acquire a house, buy a house at a discount, you can find distress. And that's kind of what you're looking for in businesses as well. So this is a great diversification play for you, right? So if you are in the real estate business, if you're making money right now, you want to start diversifying what you're doing. And me personally, I like to buy cash flow, right? This is one of the greatest ways to buy cash flow, real estate and businesses. When you combine the two, you'll be unstoppable, right? So number one, JB said to start online, start building up a brand for yourself. And you might be nervous in the beginning. That's fine, right? But you got to start somewhere. Nobody can become, there's an old saying, you can't become great. I'm going to chop this up because I'm not sure exactly how it goes. But basically, you can't become great if you never start. But
yeah,
if you, how does it go, man? If you start, you could be, you have the potential to become great. But if you don't start, you'll never be great. Something like that,
yeah. And I even want to I
right?
want to add on to that before we even, you know, and this is just lessons that I wish somebody would have taught me.
Mm-hmm.
Man, do not try. There is no such thing as creating perfect content or
Thank you.
creating perfect perfection. I wish that I would have told again. I'm gonna start it's gonna be a show. We doing some creative stuff, so I let it out the bag because we got a new show coming called Profit Ascension, and it talks about me kind of talking to my old self and like going, man, self, what would you do? And then it'd be like, no, man, make sure that it's not perfect. Like, don't try to create perfect content. Do not try to create freaking perfect content. And the
That's right.
second thing is like consistency is going to be the key. Like, I wish that I would have literally created, if I had to go back and talk to my old self, I say, I wish, man, that you would have created hundreds and hundreds of videos, no matter how bad you looked, because I would be so further ahead. And I'm telling you, this is how you get good. And it was like a guy, we're actually filming a documentary right now about creators and the creators economy. And it's gonna drop in about 30 days. So I'm excited about it. It'll probably be out by the time you guys see this. And one of the things we said in the video, the guy we were talking, and my right hand guy was on set, and he goes, "That's one take, Johnny." And then we just started doing it. We started doing the cut, and it just I went through the cut real fast. The guy was like, "Man, like how are you so good in front of the camera?" I said, "Man, because I started bad. I
Yeah.
started terrible, where I used to stutter and my eyes would go to the back of my head like I was having a twitching moment."
Same
And
here,
and
man.
and it's like, you know, you just make sure, man, you don't have to be perfect. Just get started.
Yeah, that's right, man. Zig Ziglar, I found the quote, man. It says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I chopped that all up, but that's basically what I wanted to say. I found the quote online, Zig Ziglar. Thought that was a dope quote, man. But
Yeah, shout out to Zig, man. That was RIP, man. He was definitely one of my first mentors when I got started. So
wow, man. So look, man, there's a lot of information we could cover, man. We might have to get you back because it's going to turn into a two hour course, man. But if our listeners wanted to get in contact with you, man, how should they do that?
yeah, so if you want to get in contact with me, our company is Miestro, so it's miestro.com. That's our main platform. But the fastest way, man, is hit me up on the Instagrams, not the fake profiles. They're creating all these fake profiles of influencers.
I just sent you one the other day, man.
Yeah, you did. I said, oh man, people like you done made it, man. You got fake profiles. My exact profile is CEO Justin Burns, CEO JUSTINBURNS. You can hit me up on the Insta. Just reach out, man. I'm always, just trying to connect with really awesome people. If you got any deals, hit me up because I'm looking for all type of business deals to buy. It's a good deal, real estate deals, but mostly, man, my focus is just really on, just really getting to that place of growing our tech company. You guys can, again, if you're trying to start your knowledge, get your knowledge out there, man, this look no further than Miestro. Definitely sign up for a 14-day trial and try us out.
That's it, man. 14-day trial at miestro.com. I'm going to be sure to link that in the description box. CEO Justin Burns, I'm going to link that in the description box as well on IG. Definitely check him out. And make sure you guys are not following those fake accounts. I got a couple of those out there as well, man. So I know how it feels. So usually when I know somebody personally and I know it's a fake account, I reach out because that could get annoying, man. Out here scamming people. So... with that being said, bro, are you reading any particular books right now? Any books that helped you come up?
Yeah, man, I'm reading a few books right now. Actually, sometimes I can get to the point where I'm reading damn near 3 books at one time. Because I just love knowledge a lot, man. So I'm actually reading a book. It's called Scaling Up. More of it's sort of a challenging read. So Scaling Up, and then it's one that I'm actually reading, and this will actually be good for your listeners too. That's actually a really good book that a homie of mine. Let me pull it up on my phone for 2 seconds. It's called really, really good book about how to buy businesses called Buy Then Build.
I got that one too.
Yeah, Buy Then Build by Walker Diebel, man. That's a really good book because he really breaks down how to just how to think differently about buying businesses. So it's a really good read.
Cool, man. I'm gonna definitely link those in the description box as well, man. Now, if you had to provide our listeners with some last words of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, man. Just we all know that life can be challenging, right? And the biggest thing though is you don't know how much potential is inside of you. And the difference is that your storms are never going to get away. Cash is, making, like they say, the saying goes, money ain't going to fix all your problems, but it damn sure take care of enough of them, right? So, the biggest thing, man, is just focus on building legacy. Focus on building something that you can build for years. So even though we're talking about making money, the biggest opportunity that exists today is dedicate the next 10 to 20 years to just a singular focus, whether it be buying businesses, whether it be real estate, whatever it is. Don't hop around from thing to thing to thing, right? Mm-hmm. Focus on people, even Jamel, like, man, somebody hit me up today. Man. Yeah, some people hit me up. What was that like? I want to say a guy who I recently talked to. I haven't talked to him about 5 years. I started Miestro about 5 years ago. He said, "Man, you still doing that Miestro thing?" And I said, "Absolutely."
That's right.
And I'll be doing it probably for a good 3-4 years before I sell it for a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So I said, you want people to know, and they respect you when they know that you're in the same line, a bit like Jamel. He's been doing real estate. I know if I hit Jamel up in 5 years, he's still going to be he might be doing other stuff, but I know he's still going to be doing real estate, right? So I know that plants a seed in my mind, which is, if I want to talk to somebody about real estate, I'm going to hit up Jamel because I know that he is a master of like the game. He wants to master that. If somebody want to hit me about technology, they know I've been doing it for 6-7 years full time with all the bumps and bruises that I have when it comes to software. They'll hit me up about that. So, I would just say, man, master the game, go out there, get it done, push past the pain, and just watch how your life unfolds.
Love it, man. 20 years in the game for me, man. And I had somebody contact me recently, man. He said, he just contacted me. There's a younger guy that I know. He said, man, I got to tell you, man, I respect you so much because no matter if the market is good or not, you don't fold, man. You stick to what you do, and that's it. And I believe greatness comes from being consistent over time, man. So, like you said, man, you've been doing it for 7 years. Technology-wise, I know who to contact, right? Real estate-wise, you know who to contact. So you guys, in order to be great, like Jim Rome said, you have to start to be great. But if you never start, you'll never be great. So you have to start and be consistent. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to change your circumstances. Great podcast, my man. I appreciate you jumping on today, man.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Stay up.
Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, guys, look, this has been the 100th episode of the Business and Investing Podcast. 100 episodes, man. It's a special episode then. And my man Justin Burns.
Do I get a prize, baby, for being 100?
You get the plaque, man. You get a bottle. Any bottle of choice just for being on, right? But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys supporting this podcast. We appreciate you just supporting the movement that we're going in, the direction that we're going in right now, and looking forward to helping more and more entrepreneurs go from where they are to where they want to be and creating time and freedom in their businesses. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Do me a favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, like it, subscribe, click to the channel. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this. What's some ideas that you have that you want to start implementing using miestro.com. Make sure you check that out as well. If you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, whatever, make sure that you, number one, go over to YouTube so that you can see the video version of this. Make sure that you share this with all your peoples as well. And continue to remember that in order to be great at something, you got to get started. So start right now. Take massive action in order to get massive results. We see you guys on the next one. Peace.